Now, the parable of the shrewd manager and in Luke 16, and the parable that we read today in Luke 18 of the persistent widow just goes to show how kingdom mentality is so different from the worldly mentality. If people who don't fear God eventually give in and do what they're supposed to, albeit out of exasperation, then how much more our loving Father, how much more will He not respond to the cry of His children? The key takeaway from me here is that God is attentive to prayers, and we should hold on to our faith and not stop asking, not stop seeking, not stop knocking, because He will definitely answer. Now, the parable of the Pharisees and the tax collector really highlights how much of an upside down kingdom the kingdom of heaven really is. Anyone who exalts himself will be humbled, and anyone who humbles himself will be exalted, as said in verse 14. And here I've put hashtag Selah. That's enough to just sit down and think about. Think about humility and being exalted and vice versa. I'll just leave that one there. Now, we come to the story of the rich young ruler. Now, the rich young ruler was very confident in himself and his abilities to be obedient, because he claimed to have kept all the laws pertaining to loving his neighbors, because that's what God asked him. Jesus asked him about, the laws that pertain to loving others, and he did. Nevertheless, Jesus gave him an offer that he had only ever given to his disciples. He asked him to come and follow him, literally give up everything and follow him, just like his disciples did. And this revealed where the man's heart truly was. Now, it's worth noting that one selling all their property and giving it to the poor isn't the key to eternal life or a guaranteed seat in heaven. Jesus met the rich man where he was, and he told him what he needed to tell him to help him see where his heart truly was. Faced with the choice of following Jesus or literally letting go of all his wealth and everything that he had ever amassed, he decided that he couldn't give up his wealth, which he considered to be the most precious thing to him. And that just revealed that he didn't really love God as much as he loved his possessions. Now, to the story of the blind beggar in verses 25 to 42. Now, we'll find out later that that beggar is Bartimaeus. We'll meet him in a coming account. Luke just didn't say his name. And Jesus healed him on his way to Jericho, on his way through Jericho to Jerusalem, to his death. And during this time, he again told the disciples about his death, but they still didn't understand. And at this point, I was like, what's going on? But the key was revealed in verse 34, because he said that it was hidden from them. This should explain a lot when it comes to the disciples' walk with Jesus before his death. And as the story progresses, we'll see more about that. I don't want to give too much spoilers or too many spoilers. So here's my hashtag Getting to Know God lesson. Jesus promised that that on the way to abundant eternal life, there will be necessary losses along the way. That's what he demonstrated, especially with the rich young ruler. But whoever is lost for following Christ will always be greater than whatever is lost. That's in verse 29. So basically, don't count the things that you lose here on earth for following Jesus or for doing his will, because you will be greatly rewarded in the eternal kingdom to come. Thank you so much for joining me today. Looking forward to sharing again with you tomorrow, God willing. Have a wonderful day. God bless you.